For thousands of years, the great thinkers have given us advice on how to live a good life. The Buddha, the ancient Stoics, Jesus, Plato, they all offered profound insights into happiness, meaning, and human nature. Segment 1. The Divided Self. The Rider and the Elephant. The first great idea, shared by thinkers from Plato to Freud, is that the human mind is divided. We are often at war with ourselves, with our reason pulling us one way and our passions pulling us another. Haidt argues that modern neuroscience confirms this ancient intuition, and he gives us a powerful new metaphor. The mind is a rider on the back of an elephant. The elephant is our emotional, intuitive, and automatic self. It is ancient, powerful, and it represents about 99% of what goes on in our minds. It is our gut feelings, our visceral reactions, our deep-seated habits. The rider is our conscious, rational mind. It is the voice in our head, the part that analyzes, plans, and reasons. The rider thinks it's the one in charge holding the reins, but this is an illusion. The rider is a small, weak servant, and the elephant is the true master. The rider can try to steer, but if the 6-ton elephant wants to go in a different direction, it will. This is why willpower so often fails. You can have a rational plan to eat a healthy salad, the rider's idea. But if your emotional elephant sees a piece of chocolate cake and stampedes towards it, the rider is mostly powerless to stop it. The secret to self-improvement is not to try and control the elephant with brute force. It is to become a better elephant whisperer. You have to train your elephant with good habits, and you have to understand its emotional needs instead of just shouting logical commands at it. Segment 2. The Happiness Puzzle, the Myth of Arrival. One of the oldest pieces of wisdom is that the journey is more important than the destination. Science, it turns out, agrees completely. Haidt explores what he calls the progress principle. This principle states that we get more joy from making progress toward a goal than we do from actually achieving it. Our brains are wired to release dopamine not when we get the reward, but in anticipation of the reward. This is paired with the adaptation principle. Humans are incredibly good at adapting to new circumstances, both good and bad. This is why the person who wins the lottery is often no happier than they were a year later. And it's why people who suffer terrible accidents often return to their previous level of happiness after a period of adjustment. This is the hedonic treadmill. We keep running, but we stay in the same emotional place. This confirms the ancient wisdom of the Buddha, who taught that happiness cannot be found by satisfying our external desires. The pleasure is always fleeting. True, lasting contentment must come from within. So, if we can't find lasting happiness just by achieving our goals, where can we actually find it? Haidt brings together the findings of positive psychology into a simple but really powerful formula: H equals S+C+V. H is your level of happiness. S is your biological set point. This is basically the genetic part of your personality. Some people are naturally more optimistic, kind of like Tigger, and some are more pessimistic, a bit like Eeyore. This set point is pretty tough to change. C is your life conditions. These are the facts of your life, like your age, your health, whether you're married, and how much money you have. The surprising thing is, most of these conditions have a much smaller impact on our happiness than we usually think, because, well, we tend to adapt to them. V stands for voluntary activities. These are the things you consciously choose to do with your time and energy. And this, honestly, is where we have the most power to change our level of happiness. So, what are these voluntary activities? They're things like meditation, exercise, learning a new skill, or just expressing gratitude. But the most powerful V of all, according to the research, is building and nurturing our social connections. The ancient Greek philosophers once said that man is a social animal. And modern science has really proven this beyond a shadow of a doubt. Haidt explores our deep evolutionary need for connection. He even makes a pretty fascinating case for the importance of gossip. We usually think of gossip as something negative, but for our ancestors, it was actually a vital tool for social cohesion. It helped them keep track of who was trustworthy and who was a cheater, which was absolutely essential for survival in a small tribe. Our brains are literally built for connection. The research is clear. The single most important factor for human happiness is the strength of our relationships. People with strong social ties are not just happier, they're healthier, and honestly, they live longer. This confirms the ancient wisdom that a life of pure, isolated self-interest is really just a recipe for misery. We need each other. The final great idea is about the meaning of life. Is there a secret to a meaningful life? Haidt argues that meaning isn't something you just find like some hidden treasure, it's actually a feeling that you create. And that feeling comes from what he calls vital engagement. Vital engagement is the state of flow that happens when there's a harmonious and really absorbing relationship between you and your environment. It's that feeling you get when you're using your greatest strengths in the service of something you believe is larger than yourself. It's the feeling a scientist gets when they're on the verge of a discovery. It's the feeling an artist gets when they're totally lost in their work. It's the feeling a parent gets when they're caring for their child. Notice the key here, it's about the relationship between you and something else. Haidt concludes that the ancient wisdom was right. The meaning of life isn't found in a self-absorbed quest for your own pleasure. The meaning of life is to lose yourself in something that is bigger than you are. The Happiness Hypothesis is a beautiful and honestly deeply reassuring book. It is a journey that brings together the two most powerful sources of human wisdom, the ancient philosophical and spiritual traditions, and the rigorous methods of modern science. And the wonderful conclusion is that they are not in conflict. In fact, they often tell the same story. The ancient wisdom about our divided selves, the fleeting nature of pleasure, the importance of relationships, and the search for meaning are not just beautiful ideas. They are deep truths about the human condition that are now being validated by modern psychology and neuroscience. The book is a powerful reminder that the path to a good life is not some kind of new invention. It's a timeless one, just waiting to be rediscovered by each of us. This book is a bridge. It connects the wisdom of the past with the knowledge of the present, giving us a more complete and powerful map for a good life. If you are someone who believes in this powerful synthesis, who values both ancient wisdom and modern science, then you are a true geeky philosopher. Consider subscribing to our channel, where we're dedicated to exploring this bridge between the old and the new. Thank you for being here.